Bill Courtney, the interim head coach for the Canes this season after Jim Larranaga, the legend, leader in all-time wins in Miami program history, stepping down earlier this year. Breon Pass lets it fly. Those three-pointers were falling for Pass in their most recent game. Knocked down his first three of the game in his first ever start. And he gets to start again today, Brian.
You know, they say shooters shoot to get hot, shooters shoot to stay hot.
Miami back the other way. That's weak side at O'Connell. So Pass made 4 3-pointers. That was a career high, and he tied his career high with 14 points in that game against Pitt. He's going to reload. Fire away. It's Pass. All of the rim, and it bounced out. Into the paint. The kick out for the Canes. Plenty of time on the shot clock. This is Matthew Cleveland, leading scorer for Miami this season. Rattles out. Deflected. And will stay at this end of the court. So there was a foul called on the play. It was against NC State. It was Middlebrooks picking up his first. Brandon Johnson controlling. One of the seniors honored prior to the game, along with A.J. Staten-McCray, Kyrie Huey. Bounces off. Middlebrooks had a fingertip on it. Huey also was there, and a foul is called against Huey. That's his first.
Neither team has been able to get anything to go down. And you wonder with a noon start, as we always have a lot of them.
Kevin Keats, last year all the way to the Final Four. They were number 10 seed at the ACC tournament. The first number 10 seed in major college basketball to win a conference tournament. What a run by Keats and the Pack. Unfortunately, the invitation is not there this season for either one of our teams in our game. Another miss for NC State. Canes run it up. Cleveland, difficult shot, well defended, didn't matter for Cleveland.
And Cleveland realized he had the smaller O'Connell on him and basically just took his time, got into the post, shot over him like he was a chair.
Win on Wednesday at home against Pitt, 71-63 for NC State. They made 10 3-pointers in that game. That was deflected on the Taylor shot, and a late foul is called, and that's against Cleveland despite the protest.
We'll see Cleveland on the protest that last time by Taylor.
Bill Courtney, the longtime assistant for Jim Larranaga, as the interim head coach. Spent time as a head coach at Cornell as well. Placed Coach Larranaga late December. New coach, Jay Lucas, will be announced on Monday. He's with the Duke Blue Devils. They're taking on North Carolina today for the 264th all-time meeting between those programs. And then as soon as that game's done today for Duke and North Carolina, Jay has a lot of work to do as he comes to Coral Gables to take over. Assistant at Kentucky and Texas, great pedigree. Father John Lucas played in the ACC at Maryland. Missed by Cleveland, too strong. Second effort, Huey bounces around, picked up by Pass. Pass trying to go all the way. And a foul was called on the Pass drive.
And you mentioned Pass getting the start again today. On senior day at home last time, he lit it up from behind the arc. Come out this afternoon, hunting his offense. And we talked about the fact the last game of the season, you had that Wolfpack senior bunch. They scored all 71 of their points last game in the win against Pitt.
Amazing. Before the game, Coach Keats made it a point to tell us that. Brian said he had never seen anything like that, especially in a senior day performance with all his seniors chipping in for the 71 points.
And I thought, Tom, it was interesting. I said, hey, did you have a special message for your seniors to, like, just go out and duplicate duplicate what you did the last game?
Breon Pass hasn't been to the line a whole lot, only 20 attempts prior to today for Pass. So the leading scorer for NC State this season, Marcus Hill Jr., will enter. Pass leaves after the free throws. Marcus Hill Jr. averages just over 11.5 points per game to lead the way for the Pack this season. Cleveland surveys the situation. Nowhere to go. Top of the scouting report. Brandon Johnson forced up the shot against Middlebrooks. Play was clean, according to the officials. Traveling violation. And a turnover as Stylez turns it over.
And you see both teams coming out. No one really being able to establish themselves offensively. Last time you see Stylez, a little bit of a shuffle of the feet.
Both teams trying to find a little rhythm early on, Brian. Hard to come by so far. And that one goes out of bounds into the front row. Miscommunication by teammates.
And a lot of that, too, was Stylez on the rotation. Ogochukwu basically saw two guys on him and passed the ball, not realizing he didn't have a clear passing lane.
Stylez now, a little bit of daylight over Cleveland for Stylez.
And good play by Stylez. Realized that Cleveland, when he faced up on him, gave him a little bit of a distance. Obviously, we talked about the fact that how he's been playing over the last 5 games, 16 points a game, gets him on the books.
Miami trying to work it in deep with Johnson. To go back out to Cleveland against 2 and 3 defenders, and Stylez was all over it. Hill wants to run. Can't calculate the angle. Middlebrooks comes over the top. It's going to be out of bounds in Miami basketball. Trying to crash the boards, Will Middlebrooks.
Tom, watch this last play by Dontrez Stylez. Gets a little bit of a mid-post, realize that Matthew Cleveland's giving him distance. That's one of those things, again, he's going to face up and a guy that's got a good offensive rhythm. We talked about his numbers over the last 5 games.
Canes are 6 and 24 overall this season. Lost at Georgia Tech on Tuesday, 89-74. They shot it well, 44%. Long pass up ahead. That bounces off for Bethea and back to O'Connell. Stylez has had some experience across the college basketball landscape. Wants it in the corner, was demanding that ball, then it gets tipped. Stylez played at Georgetown, also a couple of years at North Carolina. How about that gracious bounce?
A friendly bounce there. And again, Stylez has come out this afternoon hunting his offense. Talked about the fact that he's a 3-level scorer. The guy can put the ball on the floor, gets that 3 ball to go. 5 quick points.
Jaleel Bethea. 9 points off the bench in 29 minutes at Georgia Tech. Quality minutes. He had started the previous 10 games. Johnson with the shot clock going inside of 10 launches. Picked up by Stylez. He wants to move. How about Michael O'Connell playing in his 161st collegiate game? O'Connell misses. Hill's right there unguarded.
And you talk that up. O'Connell gets on. What if he gets the assist on that air ball?
He'll take it, right? He had 8 assists, a game high in the win against Pitt. Miami's missed its last 5 shots, Brian. Bethea got Hill in the air. Driving on the baseline and a foul call. Divine Ugochukwu will go to the wins for Jim Larinaga.
And one of the greatest to ever do it. You can talk about his success at George Mason and then here at Miami. And Miami could use some type of offensive flow right now. 1 of 9.
Just 64% from the line this season for number 99, the freshman. Miami has missed its last 5 shot attempts. It's a 10-0 run. for NC State. And it stops there with the free throw. And a freshman from Sugar Land, Texas.
And Tom, what you've seen is that NC State, their shot quality is a lot better than what Miami's been able to do. Did a good job of breaking the paint, getting their second and third options. Miami's got to do a little bit more than just go east to west on the perimeter with the ball.
McNeil has come in. He'll shoot right away, and it'll rattle out. We've seen that a few times so far, both ends of the court. Miami tried to overcome a 16-point halftime deficit against Georgia Tech and came up a little bit short. Lance Terry for the Jackets had 31 points. That was a career high for him. That was on Tuesday. Staten McCray, high arcing three is all net.
And great play and recognition by Ogachukwu. Basically what he realized, he broke the paint, forced NC State to help, and that gets Staten McCray wide open. But I get them going.
31st three-pointer of the season for him. 120 three-pointers now in his career. McNeil at the other end does the same thing for three.
No hesitation by McNeil. Good rotation. O'Connell realizes wide open defensive shift.
Paul McNeil Jr., the freshman from Rockingham, North Carolina, did not score a point off the bench in the win against Pitt this week. Had 24 points, a season high, in a win against Wake Forest. Staten McCray with the finger roll, and it rolls off the rim. Hill is open. Just a little strong for the left-hander. Canes come away with it. Swartz is in. Canes have used 12 different starting lineups this season. See if they can push the right buttons today against NC State. A little soft follow away. Bethea.
And Bethea is one of those guys, you give him the rock, he can go get you a bucket. He's a guy that's number 10 in the top ESPN as a recruit. Got a lot of upside.
O'Connell from the corner. That's going to be a 2 according to the officials.
NC State doing a good job of being able to move the ball. O'Connell, again, a guy that's good and well, put the ball on the floor. Knocks down that 3.
Huey had a chance after the miss. And a foul coming up against Huey for Miami after the miss.
And you watch that last play, you see Staten McCray wide open off of the Ogachukwu pin down. And then again, McNeil giving himself great elevation on the shot, follow through. And then this last one, and then the 2. Worst shot in basketball, Tom Wormy. That foot on the line. You're going to shoot it out there for a 3. Make sure you get those 3 behind. But I love O'Connell, what he's been able to do.
So our officials are Adam James, Trey Stylez, and Adam Flore. The reason Tommy Morrissey was replaced, his wife Sam had a baby this morning, a young baby boy. Miller Thomas joins the team. So congrats to the family of Tommy Morrissey. That's Cleveland on the run.
And nice move by Matthew Cleveland. Gets the ball off the rebound and goes coast to coast.
Just over 17 points per game for Cleveland. 29 points, a team high in the loss at Georgia Tech this week for Miami. Also had 7 boards. That's Hill carving his way in. And a draw.
Why you play? You play the tournament. You play every game because get a quick run.
Simply amazing run. Number 10 seed captures the title. Took out the top 3 seeds to the Final Four for the first time since Jimmy V cut down the nets in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
You see North Carolina State with a little bit of an extending of their pressure.
By the way, when NC State won the ACC tournament, Brian, back in '83, just 8 teams in the league. Now we have 18.
Wow.
And 3 of them aren't going to Charlotte for the tournament.
That's banana.
Unfortunately.
8 teams. My God.
The NCAA tournament field was 52 teams. And remember, they could have lost right away. They beat Pepperdine in double overtime to start the tournament. And they beat UNLV by a point in the first and second round in Boise, Idaho. How about that?
But that's the thing, though, Tom, is that I remember back when we won the ACC tournament in '90. You know, won the tournament, went into the NCAA tournament. We knocked off some teams that we weren't supposed to be to make to the Final Four, and that's one of the things that of playing in the ACC tournament is you see Matthew Cleveland come up with that miss, not being able to get that one go down.
Charlotte was kind to you in 1990, Brian, as Hill
Very,
scores.
very kind. Every time I pass through Charlotte, I always blow them a kiss.
Brian Oliver, the MVP of the 1990 ACC tournament, contested in Charlotte, North Carolina. 70-61 of the championship game against Virginia. You had a couple of pretty good teammates too, didn't you?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
You know, Dennis Scott, Kenny Anderson, shout out. As you see Matthew Cleveland continue to go downhill. And again, we talked about him and the fact that the last 2 games averaging almost 20, right at 27 points. You can tell that he's come out very aggressive trying to get downhill.
Hard-working player in this Canes lineup. As we mentioned, he was out there well before the start of our game, shooting jumpers from around the perimeter. The interesting thing was he had about 10 managers rebounding for him because he wanted that ball back as soon as he could because he wanted some high-volume reps for that warm-up.
Well, here's the thing is that if you will get those shots to go early, you get a little rhythm. You see that he's come in with the mentality, and they definitely need it right now as they try to find some offense.
That rolls out of bounds and back to the Canes.
Miscommunication between O'Connell and Hatfield Hartley.
Strong finish for NC State at home this season, Brian. They won their last 3 home games, the Pitt game, also Wake and BC. 2-2 in their last 4 games. The wins against Wake and Pitt, losses at Georgia Tech and at Syracuse for NC State. Canes whittle that shot clock down to 5. Brandon Johnson, the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, taking on the Pack, traveling from Raleigh, and that goes out of bounds into NC State.
And great defense by O'Connell. That last time you saw Johnson trying to get the contact, just walled up and didn't foul. Good defense without fouling.
NC State also looking for its first road win of the season. 0-10 and 0-9 in conference play. They go all the way across. Middlebrooks is on the weak side to save it to Hill. Ball did not hit the rim. Shot clock is at 6. Hill needs to shoot it. That's offline. Canes try to run it up. Looking for a 3. Cleveland was fighting for the rebound with Middlebrooks and O'Connell. Jaden Taylor picks up the foul for NC State. That's his first. A 6-point advantage right now in the first half for the Wolfpack. McNeil will come back in. So great to have you with us on CW Courtside Saturday. Georgia Tech and Wake to follow us. Xfinity Racing from Phoenix, Arizona. Also today on the CW, Tom Wormy along with Brian Oliver, the 1990 MVP at the ACC tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the destination next week. Baseline jumper, Cleveland.
And that's an aggressive matchup between Cleveland and also Stylez. You see both of them going in and Stylez being aggressive. Cleveland put his head down. Watch this play, Tom Wormy, where you see Matthew Cleveland realize he can get to a spot, elevate. You see a little bit of a contact, being able to stay focused. Gets a chance to go in for the 3-pointer the old-fashioned way.
So Stylez picked up the foul. Cleveland completes the old-school 3-point play for the senior from Atlanta, Georgia. Played 2 years in the Florida State program. Second year here in Coral Gables for Cleveland. Taylor, Stylez, McNeil along the perimeter. O'Connell's in the corner. Middlebrooks has the basketball. The Clemson transfer, acrobatic shot. He hits the deck. And Middlebrooks was fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
And Middlebrooks did a good job realizing weak side help was coming on the double team. Opted to go the opposite way.
Brandon Johnson picked up the foul for Miami to put Middlebrooks at the free throw line. 74% on the season. Nobody gets there more for NC State than Middlebrooks. Coming up next, second half of our CW Courtside Saturday season finale. Georgia Tech faces Wake Forest. Tight battle for ACC tournament seeding. Yellow Jackets, Demon Deacs coming up next only on the CW. The only spots we know right now, and it could be in a different order, Duke, Louisville, Clemson all have earned a double bye. It's a scrap below that. Includes North Carolina trying to get the double bye at the ACC tournament.
Georgia Tech Wake game is going to be a big game for both teams because of Wake again still trying to position themselves for a bid for the NCAA tournament. For Georgia Tech, you see Matthew Cleveland throws it away.
The regular season in the ACC, everybody that has qualified will go to Charlotte next week. Third time at the Spectrum Center. Saw the tournament there in 08 and 2019. North Carolina won in 08, Duke won in 2019, and that's a 3 McNeil.
And McNeil has given NC State a nice shot in the arm from behind the arc. Most of the part right now in this first half, all NC State by committee. Offense has generally been by Matthew Cleveland. 10 points so far in the first half.
Cleveland to double figures for the 21st time this season and 88th in his career. Johnson with a fall away in the paint.
And nice move by Johnson. Got a little separation between he and Middlebrooks. I like giving him a touch in the post to let him go to work.
So he had 16 points in his double-double, Brian, at Georgia Tech for Johnson. All of his points came in the second half. McNeil again.
Oh!
Wow! And he gets a high five from Keats.
Kevin Keats almost jumped off the floor.
You'll see that every day, Brian.
Not at all. And to want a friendly roll to McNeil. Watch this last play. McNeil, who had hit his previous three, you see the close by Stade McCray on the foul, and then it looks like it's going to come out and gets the friendly roll. Opportunity for a 4-point play.
Seen a couple of nice bounces like that for NC State in the first half in enemy territory. Paul McNeil is a good-looking player for this NC State program as a freshman.
Yeah, gets a lot of elevation on his jump shot. The touch around the rim as well.
Johnson was there after the miss by Bethea. And the foul will go against McNeil. First on McNeil.
And Johnson did a good job of being able to follow the ball. Two guys were focused on Bethea, and he cleans up with the opportunity that offensive glass just couldn't come up with before the foul.
Johnson hands off Bethea. Drives into the paint against Stylez, and he traveled as Stylez tied him up.
Stylez is a really good defender, does a good job of being able to defend without fouling. That last time Bethea came in, took too many steps, and Stylez just made physical, forced him into that turnover.
How about NC State? It's made 8 field goals in the first half, Brian. 4 of those were 3-pointers. They average about 7 made threes per game. Remember, they made 10 in the win against Pitt earlier this week at home at Lenovo Center. McNeil again, little scissor kick.
You can call that a heat check. He's going to give himself a chance. He said, I'm feeling it.
Cleveland at the other end beats 2 defenders, including Middlebrooks. Foul on the play. Cleveland to the line.
And that's one of the things that's going to allow Matthew Cleveland to possibly play at the next level is his ability to be able to play through contact and knock down shots. Watch this last play when you advance the ball and then he gets downhill and then kind of gets between 2 guys, finishes with that offhand. At least Matthew Cleveland already 13 points in his first half.
Cleveland has scored 20+ in 9 of his last 11 games as NC State will put out some fresh legs. Middlebrooks picked up the foul his second, so he goes to the bench for Kevin Keats.
And back to Cleveland. He's done a good job of being able to keep this close and keep Miami in it. Miami needs to do a better job of getting some stops and then someone else help him offensively.
So Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, number 1 for NC State, is into the lineup. This is Stylez straight away, rocking the 3 ball for the pack.
And we've talked about the fact that Stylez is one of those guys that's going to play hard on both ends of the floor, doesn't hesitate. And we talked about the fact of the last 5 games, averaging about 17 points. You can tell he's in a good offensive momentum right now. 2
for 2 on 3-pointers for Stylez. He now has 50 3-pointers on the season. That leads the club. Falling down, hitting the 3, Bethea.
Both teams starting to warm up a little bit with their offense. You saw a little struggle earlier on.
It was a sketchy start by both teams, but they have settled in the first half. Stylez against a double team.
We mentioned that Matthew Cleveland needed someone to come in and help him out. And then watch Jalil Bethia right here. That could have easily been a 4-point play that last time. Knocks down that shot. And back to Stylez, doing a good job as well.
So Stylez at the free throw line, 72% of the season. CW Sports Saturday rolls on as Georgia Tech heads to Winston-Salem for a battle against Wake Forest. Then we cap the day with racing. The Xfinity NASCAR Series roars into Phoenix for a showdown in the desert. CW Sports Saturday continues next, only on the CW. And we certainly thank everybody involved with CW Courtside Saturday as we wrap up the regular season today. It's been a wonderful year. Great to be alongside Brian Oliver here at the Watsco Center and our talented production crew bringing you this matchup between NC State and Miami. Cleveland able to rise up to grab that one. Then he fires away, and Stylez gets the rebound.
If you're Matthew Cleveland, when in doubt, just put it up. Last time prevented the turnover.
31st all-time meeting between the teams as Stylez hangs and misses, but is fouled in the process. Looks like Johnson picks it up for Miami.
And we've seen in this first half, you see Stylez putting a lot of pressure on the Miami defense. Again, this is a guy we talked about that can face up and knock down the three. That last time, trying to get to the rim. A physical player that does not shy away from contact.
So Stylez at the stripe has a team 9 of 11 so far. And free throws for NC State add one more. They are 13th in the conference this year. 72% as a team from the stripe.
I think you see what the difference is as far as a 9-point lead is that NC State has done a better job of being able to get downhill and get some contact and some fouls and get to the free throw line.
Add in the 5 3-pointers that NC State has made in this first half. In fact, their last 7 games prior, Brian, they've averaged 9 made threes per game. So they picked it up in that category to close out the season. That's the reason why they won their last 3 home games.
Absolutely, and you can see the continuity that they've been able to play with. It's pretty much been by committee. Miami this first half, majority of their points have come from Matthew Cleveland.
Canes trying to snap a 6-game losing streak on the last day of the regular season. That's Cleveland, not high enough on the square. Was looking for a call and did not get it. Inside of 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Pass loops it in. Huntley Hatfield. Ugochukwu knocks it away and out of bounds.
And good recovery and good defense by Ugochukwu. Realized that Huntley Hatfield down there had him on a mismatch, and he just stayed solid, was able to come off the ball.
O'Connell races over to grab it. Pass. Gets into the lane, misses with the left. Cleveland, one power dribble, elevates. Stylez is up there too to meet him in midair, mind you.
And what about the play and the recovery by Stylez to get back and what looked to be a probably easy shot and basket. Watching the replay and you see Stylez come up and in what could have been a foul before that. He's able to get through and come up with a block.
Last win for the Canes mid-February right here in this floor against Syracuse. Out of the corner. Knocking down a 3 for Swartz.
And Swartz is another one of those guys, a talented freshman. Number 50 in the top 100 ESPN. This guy's got a tremendous future.
Just a 2 for Swartz on that attempt. A couple of threes made by Miami on 7 tries in this first half. Entry passes Stylez, free throw line. Turnaround. What was that maneuver, Brian?
Well, here's the thing is that Miami was playing that zone. Stylez did a good job of understanding you get it right there in the middle. Does a little bit of a pirouette. Realize that he face up and he's already feeling it. 6
straight games in double digits in scoring for Dontrez Stylez, the senior from Kinston, North Carolina. Here's Cleveland, slams on the brakes and hits the front rim. Everything but the finish for 0 for Miami.
And North Carolina State is doing a good job of being able to close possession. Great pass by McNeil over to Huntley Hatfield.
How about the senior from Clarksville, Tennessee, going on a rim rocker. Averages 7 points per game and 5 rebounds. Best shooting percentage on the team for Huntley Hatfield. Now, granted, most of his shots are close to the rim, like that one. You still got to make them.
Still got to make them, though, Tom. Wow, that was one of those instances with Stylez, really good defense, and then Bethea comes in with better offense. Again, this kid has got a tremendous upside because he is a bucket getter.
Not afraid to shoot. High degree of difficulty in the corner, spinning around and launching one. We've got a 10-point game. Just over 2 minutes to go for Breon pass. O'Connell. Ugochukwu runs it up, finds Cleveland. On the wing for three, Matthew Cleveland.
And great point guard play by Ugochukwu. You get in transition and you realize you try to find your score. You realize Matthew Cleveland's got it going, get it over to him and knocks down that three. Miami's on a nice little mini run themselves.
All in one motion for Cleveland and a three ball for the Canes. Weak side fight, Huntley Hatfield elevating against Swartz. Foul called against NC State. Will step us.
Huge shot in the arm right now that has allowed them to have this lead.
8th season for Kevin Keats, 151 wins as the NC State head coach. 11th overall, over 200 wins in his coaching career. Final 140 from Watsco Center. Coral Gables, Florida. CW courtside Saturday. Hill elevates. Johnson up high for the rebound. Johnson will show and go, and a kick. Cleveland got the defender in the air, and Huntley Hatfield tried to lean into him. Huntley Hatfield's behind the play after the contact.
It looked like he took a blow on the contact between he and Matthew Cleveland. May have gotten the wind knocked out of him.
O'Connell and pass up top. Final minute of play, inside of 10 on the shot clock for pass. Stylez trying to come in from the weak side. Hill trying to save it right at the Miami bench to O'Connell.
Wow, what a play. First of all, what a save by Marcus Hill to be able to get the ball over to O'Connell and knocks down that three. For Miami, you played solid defense. You've got to close out that possession with the defensive rebound.
5 points in the first three of the game for Michael O'Connell. 105 career three-pointers. That's what happens when you play in 161 games. 3 years at Stanford where he played 89 games for O'Connell. Lead back up to 10. It's been as large as 12 in the first half for NC State. It's about a 5-second difference, game and shot. As Wolfpack.
And watch Marcus Hill, and the ball's going out of bounds, and you see right there, really great recruiter for Duke. Last 2 seasons helped Duke have the #1 recruiting classes. In this day and age, you got to be able to get players in there to be able to turn your program around.
And remember, in the regional final, NC State beat Duke to get to the Final Four last year. Clemson was in a regional final as well. So 3 of the 5 teams got to the Elite 8, and then NC State onto the Final Four after its run at the ACC tournament. Johnson with a second effort, twisting off the glass. He missed. Foul is called, and it's Middlebrooks.
And great second and third effort by Johnson. Realized he had a smaller pass on him. Even when he was trying to finagle his angle there, I would have loved to see him dip in and make sure that he can knock that down, but it gives him opportunity to go to the free throw line.
Finagle his angle. Brian Oliver.
I'm going to put that on the T-shirt
I like
for
that.
you.
Wow.
Put that on a T-shirt for you.
You're nice like that, Brian Oliver.
I am nice with it. I thought you knew.
Or with it, sorry. At the free throw line, Johnson. Might as well have a little fun on the last day of the regular season. Our last game of the season. It's been great to be with you and G-Man and John Henson, Tom Brenneman, everybody else who's joined us during the course of the season. Empty from the free throw line for the Canes. NC State 12-18 on the year, 5-14 in conference play. If they win today, they can get their first road win of the year. They've been good with the halftime lead this season, 11-4. Stylez out of the corner. It's a 3-ball in front of his own bench.
And great recognition by Ben Middlebrooks. I thought he had a wide open layup, but he opted to get the ball out to Stylez. And again, the guy that's leading them in scoring 14 the first half knocks down another 3 to come up with 17.
How about Stylez? 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. And then he deflects that ball out of bounds. It will be Miami basketball.
And watch this last play, and you see wide open Ben Middlebrooks realize that he's got a better shooter, a better shot in Stylez. Stylez knocks it down. He is rolling.
Defensively for NC State, the issue now, Middlebrooks has 3 personal fouls, and Coach Keats told us he's a key ingredient to defensive success if he can stay in the game. State and McCray dancing around in the corner, trying to save it. That'll be a shot clock violation, NC State basketball.
And great defensive possession by NC State, because what they did is that they ran another man at Matthew Cleveland, opting to make someone else from Miami beat them, because, again, he's been the sole guy all afternoon that's been able to hurt them, force the ball out of his hand, and then get a shot clock violation.
Stylez has 17 points. That leads everybody, well above his season average of 11 points per game. Did have a double-double against Pitt. That'll bounce off for Taylor. Fight for the loose ball. Middlebrooks, O'Connell, Ugo Chukwu in the vicinity, out of bounds, and Kane's ball. Again, Middlebrooks has to display some discretion with his 3 personal fouls. Swartz comes into the lineup for the Canes.
Tom, you see NC State continue to extend their defense, and for Miami, they've got to find some way to get some easy offense, because now if you're in North Carolina State, every time the ball goes beneath the free throw line, you send another man. You've got to force somebody else from Miami to beat you right now. They've got to find another secondary scorer.
Miami's going to have to defy recent history. They are 1-19. Trailing at halftime, it's Johnson with the jam.
Johnson did a great job of being able to show the ball and put Middlebrooks into the parachute club. Ball on that, was able to run right to the rim from the dunk.
And you know there's a little extra juice for Johnson, who is from Raleigh, North Carolina. Spent 3 years at East Carolina, first year with the Canes. Cleveland into the corner. That rims out for Swartz. Foul was called in the aftermath.
Watch this last pump fake. He said, "Whoop, birds will fly." And then the sea parts wide open. And you see Johnson go down for the easy one.
Was that the Red Sea that parted wide open there as Stylez picked up his second personal?
I saw what you were doing there.
I'm just emptying the tank. It's our last game, right? Come on.
I know, you'll be here all afternoon. I like that.
Johnson, tough shot. Wow.
And that's a matchup that he can win, because you already got Middlebrooks, who's prone to foul sometimes. You give him the ball down there, that's 2 consecutive buckets by Johnson.
I mean, that's reasonably good defense against Johnson, right?
It was, but sometimes it was just an instance of better offense.
Middlebrooks finds his man Stylez. That's his first miss from 3-point real estate, and missed everything. Cleveland cuts to the rim. Cleveland lays it in.
And here's what happens is you get into transition. It doesn't allow North Carolina State to be able to pack that lane. That last time you allow Cleveland to get downhill. You see Kevin Keith opting to call a timeout. Miami finding their
program.
As we come back, Miami on a 6-0 run. But they needed to find some offense. A good job of being able to get some stops.
Both teams trying to finish strong. Unfortunately, the season ends today for both. Just 15 teams qualifying for the ACC tournament out of the 18 this year. That's deflected by Cleveland. Right to Huntley Hatfield.
And good defense by Cleveland, but then McNeil was able to get his hands back on it. Huntley Hatfield, the beneficiary of that. Right place at the right time.
Huntley Hatfield, a year at Tennessee, 2 years at Louisville, and now in the NC State program. Intercepts the pass, starts the break. Stylez off the backboard and in for Stylez. What a response after the 6-0 Miami run.
And it was a bully response by Stylez, being able to just basically put his head down, initiate the contact.
That's Johnson inside.
And I like the fact that they're giving Johnson more touches, and he's shown that if you give him the ball down there, he can finish, gathering himself, being patient to come up with that bucket.
So Johnson, who averages over 8 points per game, almost 7 rebounds. Big on the offensive side early second half for Miami. McNeil reversing field. Stylez, shot clock at 8. Driving. Not enough on it. Foul was called. So that was Stylez on the drive.
Dontrez Stylez, he goes at it.
Right from behind the backboard was Stylez at the free throw line.
I just gave him all the.
Now wait a second.
Gave him his flowers, and he goes in and he just clanks the free throw.
That's all right. He's got one more. Make the adjustments. Some Brian Oliver form. We tried.
And then you just did that.
We tried.
I wanted to let him know you can't leave crumbs on the table.
Miami with a chance now. Just over 15 minutes to go in our second half of action. Tom Wormy, Brian Oliver. Chukwu racing along the baseline. Swartz gets it on the handoff. Shot clock's at 7 against Hill. Bounced off him and hit.
And nice shot by Swartz because he was able to touch the paint, initiate the contact, and got a little bit of separation. Again, we talk about the fact that this is a guy, tremendous upside because he's got a lot of offensive ability.
Miami has made its last 4 field goal attempts to cut the lead to 7. Stylez. Fancy globetrotter dribble, and it bounces off. Huntley Hatfield in there. Tried to put it on the floor. He gets swarmed. Swarmed by the Canes.
Yeah, on one end, very good effort by Huntley Hatfield, and then for Chukwu, you like to see players fighting. And you see right now Miami being able to get back into this game with their aggression, especially on their defensive end.
Chukwu picked up the foul to put Huntley Hatfield at the free throw line.
And watch Huntley Hatfield out at battling. And you see not being good. Chukwu basically getting his hand in there. Fouls him, gives Huntley Hatfield opportunity to go for 2.
79% free throw shooter for the senior from Clarksville, Tennessee. Game number 117 in his career. One more for Huntley Hatfield, who last year at Louisville was the 5th leading rebounder in the conference. Averaged 13 points per game in 32 games. Made those look easy.
You check the sneakers from Huntley Hatfield.
They're flashy?
Yeah, they're flashy.
Is that a good way to put it?
That's nice, yes. Old heads like you and I can say that and get away with it.
Make your shoes look like mirrors.
See, that's where you went too far.
Now I can't take my eyes off him. Swartz just took his eye off the rim a little bit there, and Huntley Hatfield in the dazzling shoe wear. Inside pass, Hill on the cut. That was from O'Connell, knocked away.
And Miami is doing a better job with their defense positions, and now you get out in transition, and the finish. That's Swartz. Miami starting to get back into it, Tom Wormy. They turned it up another notch defensively.
50-43, 13:45 to go. These look like 2 teams determined to end the season with a win. McNeil chiseling his way. Foul called. Looked like Cleveland and Johnson were in the neighborhood defensively, and Cleveland will get it. NXT hits NYC at MSG for WWE Roadblock. You will not want to miss this very special episode of NXT this Tuesday, 8/7 Central, right here on the CW.
I like what you did with a little wordplay.
I mean, I give the credit to the folks writing the promos for us. I had nothing to do with that.
Paul McNeil is a good-looking player. Look at the guy that we saw him shoot the ball from behind the arc in the first half. And also, you get up on him with his length. He's got a good ability to be able to put the ball on the floor. You see Keats give Stylez a little bit of a blow, much deserved.
So Bryce Hurd is also in there along with McNeil and Hill, Huntley Hatfield and O'Connell for NC State. Hurd played about 2.5 minutes in the first half. He's in for Stylez for the moment. Huntley Hatfield defending on Johnson. Good matchup here. Johnson bounces off Huntley Hatfield and misses the follow-away.
I didn't like that shot by Johnson. I thought that he can do it. Pound it one more time. As you see, Miami get another turnover.
Cleveland with the slam.
Tom, you've seen in the second half, Miami doing a better job of being able to turn North Carolina State out and get some easy buckets. Extending their pressure a little bit, a little bit momentum changer.
How about the 14th game this season for Cleveland with 20 points or more after the jam? That spins off the edge of the rim. Cleveland has it. Swartz. Stop and pass. Thea for three.
And what we've seen is that the transition offense, especially for young players, you get a couple of them to go, you see momentum shift right now. Miami on a little run of their own.
But Thea now 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. This is Hill deflected. Cleveland bumped by McNeil near midcourt. Foul was called prior to the dunk at the other end in this 4-point game.
You've seen the momentum shift a little bit by both teams. And again, Miami doing it with their defense. Active hands, you get out, get an easy one, and Matthew Cleveland goes up for the highlight dunk. And again, up there trying to kiss the rim. But a little bit of a momentum shift, and Miami's done it all with their defense.
20 points or more for Cleveland in 10 of his last 12 games and 3 in a row. That is a guy who is driving towards the end of this season, trying to finish strong, as both these teams are.
Good Johnson, you want to put the ball and go to the basket. You don't want to sell.
We've seen this matchup before. Johnson was determined to try to get the shot away. The pass deflected and out of bounds to NC State. So we'll take a timeout. 11:49 to go.
Back into this game. Narrowed it down to 4.
An 11-4 run for the Canes over the last 4 minutes.
And if you're NC State, you get back to what you're doing. See Miami's turn up their intensity. You got to get to your 3rd and 4th options. Just be patient. Ball security is essential.
Hurd dribbles into the paint. Too strong off the glass. Johnson pulls it in. Ugochukwu running the floor. Just barely missed. Here comes McNeil. Taylor driving. He had it knocked away by Johnson, recovering defensively.
It does it not feel like Miami's just taking up their energy another notch in this second half?
Huntley Hatfield, a little mid-range veteran play.
And good play by Huntley Hatfield. A little face up real fast, and then Johnson backed off of him.
So that's 8 points for Huntley Hatfield. Stylez has 19. He leads the way for NC State. Middlebrooks with his 3 personal fouls is coming in as well, Brian.
And again, as much as the offense has flowed through Matthew Cleveland, I'm not sure is that you don't give Johnson an opportunity for a touch here, because again, try to get him in that low post. You realize that basically, well, I think he's out of the game, so no way to pass him the ball now.
Trying to create something up on the rim. Not what Coach Courtney was looking for exactly there. Ugochukwu.
And Ugochukwu, when he turned the corner, no one came over. He had dead set in his mind. He was throwing the alley-oop to Huey. But then again, for guards, if you get that, they don't stop you. That's a nice little runner. Finish that and go finish that bucket.
6-point game. 10-point halftime lead for NC State. Pass it O'Connell up top. Middlebrooks, Taylor, and Hurd, who's got the ball now. O'Connell, that's a 3 ball. Middlebrooks took a swipe at it. Huey corralled it.
This is a time where you want to get the ball over to Matthew Cleveland and let him ball out.
Thea, series of moves. Caught in the air looking for Huey. Pass picks it up in the corner.
And that's where you have Thea committed himself too much. He said no one stops the ball.
How about pass? But Thea meeting in midair. Last year, millions watched them on News Nation. Monday, 2 of the most prolific voices in media meet again. Chris Cuomo, Tucker Carlson. The conversation continues Monday, 8, 7 Central, only on News Nation. News for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com. Pass at the line. Staten McRae comes in with pass. 1 more free throw. 40% for NC State in the first half, dropping off in the second. Miami a sizzling 57%. 1 more for Pass, who was one of 8 players in the ACC on scholarship as a senior at the same school.
And in this day and age, that is rarely heard of because, again, with the NIL and transfer portal, you've got guys jumping back and forth in and out of programs.
Breon Pass had never started a game in his career. He started senior night against Pitt. He got the start today. Cleveland leaning into the defender, creating contact, inviting contact. And the foul on Taylor. Breon Pass, the senior from Reidsville, North Carolina, playing in his 116th game today. Just one of 8 players. I don't know, Cameron Hildreth is one of those players at Wake Forest.
Yeah, that was one guy that came to mind. I'm interested who the other 6 are because that's a rarity.
You just don't see it anymore. You see most players with multiple schools on their resumes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because it's just the changing landscape of college basketball. O'Connell walks it up. So O'Connell spent 3 years in the Stanford program prior to its arrival into the ACC this season. Stanford, Cal, and SMU, which still has a shot at one of those double byes potentially. That one up on the rim goes out of bounds, and it will stay with NC State. That's pass and some discomfort along the baseline.
And that last penetration, he came down pretty hard trying to get by, and then the challenge from Huey knocked him off balance. And watch pass, he gets around the corner, and then see Huey goes up for it and then comes down a little off balance. It looked like he got a little ouchie on his elbow.
Right back up and ready to go for Breon Pass. When it's your last game of the season, Brian, you want every second on that floor. Poked away from Pass, a lot of dribbling in tight quarters. Other way, Swartz, double-fisted rim rocker.
And Tom, you've seen the shooting percentage go up in the second half of Miami. A lot of it is because they've been able to get in transition. You see the blow-by, great play by Bethea. Let's give you Okechukwu.
26 points in the paint for Miami. Cleveland trying to add to it, and he got fouled on the way up. Matthew Cleveland of the free throw line and the foul. They're whistling Middlebrooks, and that would be his 4th, Brian.
But I feel like the game changer for Miami has been the defense. You see that last play, you get it out to Schwartz for the dunk.
Look at that view right behind the backboard.
Don't you remember when you had bounce like that?
I don't remember.
Back in the day. Come on, Tom. I know you had
so
that
long
48-inch vertical, or at least the 10-inch on the mini.
It's been a long time since I went on a rim bender. Done other things like that, but not a rim bender. Middlebrooks coming out. He's got the 4 personals. What did Coach Keats tell us? Just stay on the floor if you can. Such a key ingredient to success.
And it looked like North Carolina State at some point in the first half was going to run away from this, but how about Miami in this second half? You whittled this thing down to 3, and they've done it primarily with their defense.
In fact, NC State has led by as many as 13. That was early in this second half after leading by 10 at halftime. Huntley Hatfield stayed on the ground and fed Stylez.
What I thought Huntley Hatfield had a good opportunity to shoot, but then there was Stylez in the back, was like, psst, hey, I'm still on fire. Throws it back out to him. He knocks down that 3.
22 points for Stylez. 4th game this year with 20 or more for Stylez. Season high is 24. That was against Clemson early February. Cleveland misses. McNeil. Despite the miss, 8 made threes in the game for NC State. Cleveland just backing down. Size advantage exploited.
And you know, that's why I say he can play at the next level, because you saw he realized he had a smaller player. He didn't try to bully him. He took his time, got him down in the post, a little turnaround, get away from that double team that was coming.
Matthew Cleveland, 25 points, leads all scorers in our game this afternoon. 4-point game. Stylez, O'Connell.
Man, what a play. What a play by Stylez, because he's the guy that's got the hot hand. Realize that you let one guy go by, you come in and get another, and then you throw it right over to O'Connell for a 3.
8 points now for O'Connell, and 9 made threes now for NC State. After making 10 in the win this week against Pitt at home. Staten McCray poked away. Hill. What a defensive play by Hill. O'Connell looking over at Kevin Keats. Trying to utilize some of that shot clock. Perimeter work to Stylez. Had it deflected by Cleveland. Cleveland's ahead of the field. McNeil gets back. Swartz steps into the three. Look at the fight with Huey and Huntley Hatfield underneath Bryant.
You got two guys down there fighting for position.
Can get the lead back up to double digits with a three for NC State. Just when Miami was starting to cut into that lead. Huntley Hatfield threads the pass. Hill gets it. Lost it on the way up, and a foul is called against Miami. 6.5 minutes to go.
Do you remember at the beginning of the game I told you, shooters shoot to get hot, shooters shoot to stay hot.
See who can stay hot down the stretch with 6:32 to go, and Hill at the line for NC State.
And as well as Miami has played in the second half with being able to crawl back into this game, you like the fact that North Carolina State has been able to withstand those runs and still hold on this lead. The opportunity extended up to 9 if Hill can knock this one down.
So that is 19 of 23 from the free throw line in the game for NC State.
Man, they've done a really good job of being able to mix it up and get downhill and then get to the free throw and be able to execute.
They are 13th in the ACC as a team in free throw shooting. Not today. Impressive from the stripe for the Pack. Ugo Chukwu into the paint and kick. Cleveland. Cleveland around the edge. Oh, that was halfway down and somehow clockwise spin right out of the rim.
And that's been a really hard matchup for both guys, going back and forth this afternoon between Cleveland and Stylez.
Third foul on Stylez, and that puts Cleveland at the free throw line. 6'7" senior from Atlanta, Georgia. This Monday on All-American, it's all new. Jordan continues to search for clues to piece together his father's past, while Khalil must choose between his father or himself. Don't miss an all-new All-American, Monday, 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. While we have a moment, we want to thank everybody from CW Sports, from the CW, from Raycom Sports, all the great women and men who work so hard to bring you all the action all season long in the ACC, and that Stylez adding to the point total.
And on the ball swing that last time, chose not to shoot that three. Got to his mid-range shot. No one came on the rotation. Gives him an opportunity to knock down the mid-rangers.
A three at the other end.
And a little frustration by Kevin Keats. Bad rotation. That last time you leave Ugo Chukwu wide open, allow him to walk into that three.
Stylez with his 24 points. He has tied a season high. Ugo Chukwu had only made 5 threes all season prior to that one. Huntley Hatfield in the lane. Position and basket.
Man, good patience by Huntley Hatfield. Was able to bag down Johnson. No one came. Was able to dislodge him and get that nice little teardrop right the rim.
So the lead is 8. It has been as little as 3. 56-53 with 9:07 to go in this half. Miami cut that lead to 3, and a miss from Cleveland. 10-point halftime lead, NC State.
Got a couple of options here. Obviously, you want to go to Dontrez Stylez.
Stylez, quick double. McNeil, hesitation and drive, knocked away. Staten McCray goes up ahead, 2-on-1 chance. Swartz steps behind the line looking for 3.
Yeah, I thought that Swartz had Matthew Cleveland. That last time he put his head down to make sure he's behind the 3. You had a little 2-on-1 option. Now you get nothing. NC State ball, and you see the frustration from Bill Courtney. Watch this last play. You see Miami does a good job of being able to come up with it. Now I see, oh, excuse me, that's the last play off of Huntley Hatfield.
So that was off of Miami, Brian, so it is NC State ball. Coach Courtney watching from the sideline as the interim head coach for Miami in his 29th season as a collegiate basketball coach. He watches his team produce a turnover. Cleveland, I don't think he's giving this one up.
And that's one of the things that makes him so good, is that with his height and athleticism, that last time he realized he had the smaller Michael O'Connell, and the option just go over and by him.
Cleveland has 29 points, leads all scorers. If you're thinking about his career high, it's 32. Had 29 this week against Georgia Tech and a loss on the road. McNeil. Little bit of space, that's all he needed.
Man, nice shot by McNeil. I thought he had a clear layup, but opted to go ahead and raise the degree of difficulty to a pirouette and that one down.
So the lead is 8. Inside of 3.5 minutes to go in regulation from Watsco Center. Coral Gables, Florida. Ugochukwu driving and scoring.
Nice move by Ugochukwu. That last time no one stopped him. He was able to get downhill. And again, with his height and length, did a good job of being able to finish.
I mean, fending off the defender with one arm and scoring with the other. Highly skilled move.
As much we've seen NC State look like they were going to run away with this thing, Miami still keeping it close.
Hill dumps it into the corner. O'Connell, too much on it. Middlebrooks playing with 4 personal fouls. Stylez, head of steam, misses. Johnson the rebound. Cleveland, 4-3.
Bam. What a read by Ugochukwu that last time. Understand you get the ball.
Performance today. Don't tell these guys that it's the last day of the regular season and they're not going to the tournament, because they are playing lights out right now.
And you talked about the fact that, you know, at the end of the season, I mean, you want to make sure that you have fond memories, and both teams have come out, especially in the second half, have turned the energy to another level.
Canes celebrating their seniors prior to the game. We salute all the seniors on all the rosters in the ACC in this final day of the regular season. Next week we are in Charlotte for the tournament. This year, the expanded numbers in the conference, only 15 go. Just 2:20 to go in regulation, right down to the wire. McNeil loops it in, Middlebrooks. Stylez kicked it out of bounds.
Good defensive possession from Miami. Again, took away the first 2 options for NC State. And you've seen that that's one of the things that has led to them shooting better from the field right now. Important possession for Miami.
Canes close it to 56-53 with about 9 minutes to go in this half. They trail by 3 now, can tie it with a 3-pointer. Methodical possession. Staten McCray to tie us up at 70.
And great rotate, great recognition by Staten McCray. Realized that 2 went on the dive with Johnson. You leave him wide open. Now Miami tied this game back up just a little under 2 minutes to go.
Have not been tied since it was 2-2 early stages of this game.
Shot clock down.
Hill all the way. Hill comes up short. Canes with a chance to go ahead.
If you're Miami, obviously, you're looking for Matthew Cleveland. You want to make sure you maintain your spacing.
Miami last led when it was 2-1. Final minute of regulation of the shot clock's inside of 10 for Cleveland. McNeil has the rebound. O'Connell. Kevin Keats signals to O'Connell. Come near me and call a timeout with 46.6 seconds to go. The second half of this game, up near 58% shooting. Tied at 70. 40 seconds to go in the game. O'Connell. Stylez and his 24 points. Shot clock at 6 on the spin. He got doubled and found O'Connell. Trying to get to the rim. Cleveland knocks it away and out of bounds. And that is going to be, well, the official was about to signal shot clock violation and the clock reads double zeros, but they are going to look at it. Cleveland made the defensive play, knocked it out of bounds. And remember, Brian, the clock does not stop until the ball hits something out of bounds.
Right. Well, and watch this last play, and I thought that, you see, watch the play here and the block by Cleveland. It seemed like there might be a little
I was going to say
maybe like a .3 as you see good play.
It should stop now. So when the ball hits something out of bounds, that's when the clock stops.
And that last play, and watch the block by Cleveland. Ball goes out of bounds, and you're talking Georgia Tech math, man. I said 0.3, Tom. Come on, I told you I'm nice with it.
And
man.
why is that critical, right? Because that's enough time, technically, for the catch and shoot. If you have a less than 0.3, it's got to be a tip at the rim or a tip from somewhere.
See, I'm going to give you your flowers, but keep in mind, I called.
Yes, but I expect that from you all the time. That's all.
Go to the point where the ball hit out of bounds, 23.9 and 0.4. Okay? They can catch and shoot.
So you heard the explanation. We got it right there from Adam Flore. 0.4.
I owe you an apology. 0.4, not 0.3, Tom Morgan.
Not you were, you know, tenth of a second away.
Enough time for a catch and shoot.
Yes. 0.3 or more. They got 0.4. So now that got knocked away by Johnson. And that is a shot clock violation. That was an interesting sequence. Because again, after he deflects it, when does it hit? How much time goes off the clock? 0.4.
And here's the thing now, is that obviously everyone in the arena understands with 23.5 seconds left to go, you go to the man of the hour for Miami, and that's Matthew Cleveland. You see Bill Courtney opts to call it.
Cleveland leads all scorers in this game. Cleveland has tied his career high, which he set against Syracuse at home this season. Here we go with the final 10 seconds of regulation, tied at 70. Cleveland. Final shot attempt, driving against Middlebrooks.
Bam!
Follow jam by Johnson with a second left. Cleveland missed. Johnson slammed it.
And what a play, because again, you were Bill Courtney. You made sure that you ran inside of 10 seconds. You got downhill by Matthew Cleveland, then Brandon Johnson comes with the putback. How about this Miami Hurricane team? Watch this last play. Coming off a stagger. Basically, he gets downhill. You force the help by Ben Middlebrooks. No one boxes out Brandon Johnson. He gets a chance to put the putback in for what ultimately looks like could be the game winner.
The officials were checking the clock just to see how much time is left after the Brandon Johnson double-fisted jam on the follow. That's now double digits for him with 10 points, but none more important than those two. With 1.3 seconds left on the clock, we're trying to make sure of that number.
And good play out of the timeout. I said you wanted to give your score an opportunity to get to a strong end. Now, right now, 1.3 left on the clock. You want to keep everything in front of you if you're Miami.
Pass on the inbounds to midcourt to Middlebrooks, deflected, and the Miami Hurricanes win it. What a comeback, a 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and Miami wins 72-70.
An amazing comeback by Miami.